Today we're going to have our Week 9 NFL predictions. Last week didn't do it. Week before that didn't do it. So we kind of have a fresh slate right now where you can just pick the game, pick the winners, and overall just have fun. Make sure to go into the description to submit your video idea, like and subscribe, and let's get right into it with the Thursday night football game, Texans and Jets. For the Texans, Stephon Diggs out for the season, torn ACL, very tough. He's still one of the best receivers in the league right now, despite being a bit older. Nico Collins, not back yet. Do not know his timetable for return, though when he left, he was leading the league in receiving yards. Now on the Jets side of things. Oh boy, I mean, did we really think a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver coming into a 2-4 team was and all of a sudden light a fire under this Jets offense? No, it was never going to happen. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Also love Devontae Adams. Garrett Wilson is a young star who's going to continue to trend up. Alan Lazard is a very serviceable third option, but something's wrong with that offense. And I think that blame's going to have to be put on Nathaniel Hackett. He just does not run a newer style NFL offense. We do not see a lot of free snap motions. The offense just needs a revolution. At that point, I think that's all we can say. I'm going to take the Texans in this one. I'm going to say it's a close one, but 20-13. I think the lack of weapons for the Texans should hurt them a little bit. But overall, I do not see the Jets team winning. Next up, we're going to have the Patriots and the Titans. I'm kind of going to put my trust in Drake May in this one. I know the Titans should have a good defense. Last week, what I saw against the Lions, I didn't love it. Now, given it is the best offense in the league, the Lions. But give me the Patriots in this one. I think Drake May is going to have a big week. I know no Josh Uche. I think the team's going to be fine. I think that is Drake May going to have another one of those performances? I don't know. We'll see. Should be close, but I'm gonna say 23-20. I'm actually not gonna say 23. So I'm gonna say 17-16. The Titans end up losing to the Patriots. Close game though. Next up, we're going to have the Bills and the Dolphins. Last week, Dolphins. Tua is back. Offense still a bit little shaky. I know we haven't seen the full connection between Tua and his receivers yet and his weapon to the backfield, but I think that's going to continue to come with time. I'm not 100% worried about this team yet. I know if they lose this game, they're going to be 2-6, but I still trust that offense to maybe get it going. But they will not be getting it going against their kryptonite, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen demolishes this team every single time he sees it, and he hasn't had Amari Cooper yet. So why should I go with the Dolphins? No, Bills are going to kill this team. They're dropping 30 plus again, just like they did in week 2. And for that reason, give me the Bills with the Dolphins, 33-20. I think the score will be a lot closer than what it actually feels like. Next up, we're going to have the Bengals and the Raiders. I think at this point in the Bengals season, you're grasping for anything you can. I mean, it's going to slip away from you if you lose this game. If you drop to 3-6, I'm very confident to say you are not making the playoffs. So I think they're going to have a bit more ambition in this game, try to win, like try almost anything they can do to win. Because as Zach Taylor knows, Joe Burrow knows, Jamar Chase knows that this is probably going to be it. For that reason, Bengals, you're beating this team, 34-24. Next up, we're going to have the Ravens and the Broncos. Now, Broncos, I love that you guys have Sean Payton, obviously former Saints coach, but you guys haven't really played too much competition. Your best win this season is definitely over the it's this game over the Buccaneers, because that was a fully healthy Buccaneers offense. But you beat the Panthers, worst team in the league by far. You beat the Saints. I don't want to talk about it. You lost to the Chargers. You beat a terrible Raiders team. You beat a 2-7 at this point Jets team. Just haven't seen too much competition. I think that's going to continue to come up shortly because I know they play the Falcons. They obviously have to play the Chiefs twice this season. And I think right now the Ravens, after losing that game last week against the Browns, they're going to have, like I said, similar to the Bengals, some urgency to get themselves a win, get themselves back in the top of the AFC race, and give me the Ravens in this one. I'm going to say they win it 27 to the Broncos 14. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Browns. Last week, the Browns kind of questioning why he did not start Jameis Winston 4 or 5 weeks ago when it was kind of looking apparent that Deshaun Watson was trash. But now they're doing it. Right now they're 2-6, but they could maybe sneak back into that playoff conversation. Who knows? We'll see. The Chargers had an okay game last week. I mean, well, it was okay. Oh my gosh, the Saints suck. But yeah, this should be a good game, I guess. But think I'm going to go the Browns in this one. Put my trust in Jameis Winston. Have that Browns offense running at full power. Another very tough game for the Chargers because you feel like it could very much be 5-3 right now if you have this game over the Browns, but I think Jameis Winston's leadership, the overall chemistry on that team now, morale, everything like that should be a lot higher because they do not have a offender on their team. Next up, we're going to have the Indianapolis Colts go to Minnesota to play the Minnesota Vikings. This should be a good one. I think with Joe Flacco returning, this offense should be back up to where we know it can be for the Indianapolis Colts. And recently, this Vikings defense, not so good. They allowed how many points against the Rams last week? I think it was 30. Yeah, it was 30 to the Rams, and then it was 31 to the Lions. It's two solid offenses, but I think Joe Flacco can maybe ignite that similar fire that we saw the Vikings allow the last couple of weeks. Vikings offense, though, very talented, and his Colts defense, not that good. And I think that's what is going to decide it. Should be a good game, though. I think these are two playoff level teams of where they're at right now. I'm actually going to have the Vikings barely beat this Colts team 24 to 20. Should be a good game, but give me Minnesota. Next, we're going to have the Jaguar. Next up, we're going to have the Eagles and the Jaguars. Last week, the Eagles offense, I loved what I saw. They dropped 37 points against the Bengals. Now, given it was the Bengals defense, so you kind of can tone it down a little bit. But this Jaguars defense is basically at the same level, if not worse. Probably is worse. For that reason, I'm going to take the Eagles offense to, again, put another 30 bomb on this defense. And I think at this point, if you're the Jaguars and you're Doug Peterson, is losing to your former team going to push you over the edge? Hopefully, if you're a Jaguars fan, it does. Give me the Eagles in this one, 30 to 21. Next up, we're going to have the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. I think without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers offense is just not going to have enough to keep up with the Chiefs. I'm going to have the Chiefs win this one again. They're not going to win by a lot because it's the Chiefs, 23 to 16. Again, should be a good game, but Chiefs just do not lose. The Commanders and the Giants are up next. The Giants defense, very, very, very good. Dexter Lawrence is leading the league in sacks, and he's not even an edge rusher. That is absolutely insane. I mean, everyone on that defensive line, that front seven, has been playing very well for the New York Giants. But for the Commander side of things, you kind of got this guy that goes by Jane Daniels, who's looking like he's a top 10 quarterback in the league right now, maybe even higher. Sounds like he's an MVP candidate. He's been great to start the season. Kind of has that CJ Stroud type of feel from what we saw last year. I think Jane Daniels has it. I think this Commanders team overall might be a bit better than what we saw out of the Texans last year. Give me Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in this one. I think the Giants defense won't allow them to drop 30, but still, Commanders are going to say, I'm going to say 23 to the Giants. Let's say 23 to 14. The Commanders get it done against the Giants. Jaden Daniels has a nice, consistent day, but does get sacked a couple times. Next, we're going to have the Cowboys and the Falcons. The way these two teams have been playing as of recently, the Cowboys dropping to the 49ers. I know they only lost by 6, but really, it was definitely felt a bit more than that. The week before that, 36 or 38 points against the Lions. Ugh. Then on the other side of things, we're going to have the Falcons. They've been a bit inconsistent this season. Last week, their offense looked very good against the Buccaneers. The week before that, terrible against the Seahawks. But the week before that, pretty good. And the week before that, also pretty good. So we'll see how things stack up. I think they will do enough to beat the Cowboys, though. The way both of these teams are trending, it's kind of impossible for me to pick the Cowboys. I'm curious to see if Michael Parsons comes back. But give me the Falcons this one by a score of 28 to the let's say 28 to 20. I'm going to have the Falcons over the Cowboys. Next up, we're going to have the Saints and the Panthers. I guess I'll go the Saints in this one. Oh man, it stinks being a Saints fan. I don't even know what I'm cheering for anymore. I want a better draft pick. So do I want us to win? I don't even know. I guess I'll take the win though, 10 to 6. I've picked the Saints in every single game this season. Right now, I'm 2-6 in deciding their games. Hopefully, we get this one over the Panthers because, we want the 12th overall pick instead of the first overall pick. The Bears and the Cardinals. I think the Bears offense and the overall Bears team is going to have a fire lit under their belly. They need to come back. They need to get a win. They lost devastatingly last week against the Jaden Daniels led Commanders. This week, I think we're going to see a big week from Caleb Williams. I think all the receivers and Cole Kmet are going to get involved. And I think overall, it's just going to be too much for this Cardinals defense to handle. So give me the Bears in this one with a score of 26 to 17. Next up, we're going to have a good one. We have the Rams and the Seahawks. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this is only me, but I kind of am loving what I'm seeing out of the Rams, at least last week. They had a really good game against the Vikings. And with all of their guys coming back with more continuity, Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua. Hopefully Puka Nakua is not on a limited snap count this week, even though he probably will be. Kind of like what I'm seeing out of this Rams team. I'm gonna have them, I guess, upset the Seahawks in this one. I'm gonna have them beat the Seahawks with a score of. I'm gonna say that offense also is going to be pretty good this week. 27 to the Seahawks, 24. Very close game. Might come down to a field goal, but I'm putting my trust in Matthew Stafford. And then finally, we're going to have the Lions and the Packers. A very, very good game. If the Packers win this game, they go up to the 2 seed. The Lions, obviously, they just stay up right there. I think, honestly, I can go either way. Last week, the Packers, they were able to win against the Jaguars. Very close go. That defense, not amazing. And the Lions absolutely demolished. I mean, they killed, they obliterated that Titans overall team. Should be a good one. Obviously, it's just two of the best teams in the league. And I think when it comes down to it, I'm going to give the edge to the Detroit Lions. The offense is just way too overpowered for me not to pick them. I think they have by far the best offense in the league. Packers defense isn't bad, but when you allow 30 points to a Jaguars team, what are you going to do against the Lions? I mean, come on. Give me the Lions in this one. I'm going to say 34 to the Packers, 26. Again, very good game. I think it can go either way, especially at Lambeau Fields. But this Lions team is looking like Super Bowl contenders, if not favorites. So that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Peace.